again for coming. We are very pleased to welcome Tyler Dunnington. I'll let him tell you exactly his story, but please give him a big hand because he came all the way here from Seattle to be with us tonight. So thank you, Tyler.
First off, I just want to say thanks for having me. It's been incredible being here. I want to thank the donors as well, and Jen and Jacob for setting this up, getting me here. So my name is Tyler Dunnington. I am from Olympia, Washington currently, and I was a former 28th round draft pick by the St. Louis Cardinals in 2014. I grew up in a small rural area in Washington where being gay wasn't necessarily okay. I definitely heard a lot of comments and remarks being made when I was a young adolescent, teenager, trying to come to terms with my sexuality. And what I did then was turn to sports. So that kind of got that off my mind. I played year-round basketball and baseball, and I was able to connect with sports so that I wasn't worrying about, being gay and what people would say about me and trying to fit in. And so I kind of did that through my teenage years and then through high school. And it led to some college scholarships, and I was able to go play college baseball. And I was thinking it was gonna go away. I was gonna have my college years and kind of find myself, in which in some ways I did. And I had some really good years. And in other ways, it was kind of the same. I was still hearing comments. I was still not comfortable with telling anyone who I was, which I never did. And so, two instances in particular really cut deep with me one when I was in college and one when I was playing professionally. The first one being when I was in Colorado, I had a coach in conversation mention how he's from Wyoming and they kill gay people in Wyoming, referring to Matthew Shepard. And it was just one of those moments where I felt sick to my stomach. It was very much a dagger to my heart, and I didn't know what to do, and I wanted to leave. And it was one of those practices where I was probably upset. People didn't know why, and I couldn't tell them why. I couldn't tell them what just happened. And it was one of those things where when I would go to practice and there were incidents like this that would happen if someone was making a joke or something, and I was upset, and I couldn't tell them it was, it's because you were just calling me a faggot or because you were just saying these certain things. And so I kind of had to bottle it up and keep it to myself and make sure no one knew who I truly was. It's how I felt. And then I got through those years and I was kind of ready to be on my own and be my authentic self. And I was given the fortunate opportunity to be drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals, which was an awesome moment for me and my family. And truly, it was a great moment. And so I went and played a season with them, and it was very much a learning experience. It was a grind. My own baseball is an absolute grind. And you're playing every day. And it's tough enough as it is. And so one thing that made it a little tougher was hearing in conversation, me and one of my teammates were talking, and he was mentioning to me how he has a gay brother, and that's his best friend. That's loves his brother still, and wouldn't know what he'd do without him. And it was a very cool moment for myself because it kind of gave me hope. Like, hey, I can come out. Like, it might not be the reaction that I think it's going to be. And immediately, teammates of mine couldn't fathom that he was friends with his gay brother, and we're talking about how it's very much a choice and ways to kill him, and talking about hanging him. And it was kind of a surreal moment. And of course, we stood up for him and we had said something, but it was very much one of those things where that night I went home and I kind of decided, what do I want? Like, what do I want to do with my life? Because I'm not happy doing this. And I was still able to focus on baseball, but it was very much difficult trying to go to the field and focus on baseball and deal with my sexuality and other things that I was hearing, and so it wasn't as much of an outlet as it used to be. And in the off season, I went home, I got a job, and I was working for a little bit, and I was getting back into baseball and working out, playing catch with my dad every day. I was just getting sick to my stomach thinking about going back. And I sort of sat myself down, if you will, one day, and I said, okay, you're really unhappy right now. Why are you unhappy? And it's because I was a closeted gay athlete. And then I said, how are we going to change this? What are you going to do? So the only answer really is to come out and be yourself. And then it was, how are we going to do that? And I decided, I had it imprinted in my head that I couldn't do that and play baseball. It was one of those things where I was also my own worst enemy. I didn't think it was going to be accepted. And so I went up to my parents a few days later, and my dad was like, okay, do you want to go play catch? I said, no, I don't know. And so, tomorrow? And I said, I don't want to play catch ever. It was, what do you mean? And I said, I don't want to play baseball anymore. And I had to make up this story. I think I told him it was just so much of a grind, and it wasn't fun for me anymore. And I just couldn't tell them the truth as to why I wanted to quit. I wanted to be an out gay man. And it was one of those things where I could see that they were looking at me and they were like, okay, I mean, we support anything you do, we just truly don't understand why. And so that's what I did, and I quit baseball. I wrote the Cardinals an email, and I think I told them that student loans and I need to pay for it, and I don't get paid enough money. I just made up whatever I could. It was far from the truth, because my parents would pay my secrets. And so I sent them an email, and then they called me and had a conversation with me, and thanked me for everything. It was very much a good conversation, and that was it. And I wasn't playing baseball anymore, and I was kind of a little bit of weight lifted off my shoulders. And so then I was like, what's the next step? What am I going to do now? And I kind of took the summer to find myself and spent most of the time hiking and kind of being alone, and just decided, okay, it's time to tell your family. And so my mom was the first person I came out to. She was completely accepting, as well as the rest of my family. And from there, I came out to my friends, and so on and so forth, but I became more comfortable with myself. And I was reading an article from Out Sports, and it was talking about how, as an athlete, you need to come out publicly, you need to be visible for the community, you need to be visible for these kids to see that it's okay, there's others out there like you. And after reading that, it kind of got to me, and I decided that's very much true. When I was 13, I was struggling, and I was struggling with myself. I didn't feel like I had anyone to reach out to. When I was 22 playing professional baseball, I didn't feel like I had anyone to reach out to. And so I decided to come out, or I sent them an email, and they decided to publish an article and kind of shared my experience as to what I went through and why I wanted to quit. And it was very overwhelming for me, waking up to all these texts, and I'm on ESPN and this, and it was a little scary, but the coolest part of it was the majority of messages that I received were from former teammates of mine, congratulating me, saying how proud of me they are, and it was just one of those things where one of the scariest moments of my life was very much the best moment of my life in many ways, and I almost felt like I judged them before I gave them the opportunity to accept me for who I was. And if I had any regrets, it was that I didn't come out while playing, because sometimes all it takes is for someone to know that one person that's gay, or that one family member, to kind of change their mindset on things. And that's very much what I saw when I come out. And if you would have asked a lot of these people if they had known anyone that was gay, whether it be friend or family, I think a lot of them would have said no, they didn't know anyone. And then now they at least know someone and can understand maybe a little more than what they did before. Which is, I mean, it was just an awesome time for me. And that's why with the Missouri Courage Scholarship, it's very much, these kids are coming out of high school and being their authentic selves at such a young age. And I hope they know how much they're inspiring other kids that maybe don't have the courage to come out to yet. And they're very much looked up to in many ways. And so everything that Jen and Jake are doing, it's awesome. I mean, I'm so happy to be here. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.